Right now, at this exact moment, there is a number that determines whether you run out of money at 72 or whether you don't. Most people watching this video will never find out what that number is. Not because it is hidden. Not because it requires a financial degree to understand. But because the people who were supposed to tell you decided a long time ago that it was better for business if you didn't know. I'm going to show you that number today. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly where you stand and exactly what to do about it. But first, the Federal Reserve just published its latest survey of consumer finances, the most comprehensive study of American household wealth ever conducted. And they found one number that stopped me cold. The median retirement savings for Americans between 55 and 64 years old is $185,000. Now hold that number in your mind, because in a few minutes, I'm going to show you what $185,000 actually buys in retirement. And when you see it clearly, everything you thought you knew is going to shift. Imagine this. You are 55 years old. You have spent the last 30 years doing what America asked of you. You got up before the alarm. You drove to work in the dark. You paid your mortgage even the months it was hard. You put money into your 401k because someone told you to. And you trusted that it was the right thing to do. And now retirement is no longer a distant someday. It is a date. Maybe 5 years from now. Maybe 8. And somewhere between the hope of almost being there and the reality of actually looking at the numbers, a question has started waking you up at 2 in the morning. Is what I have actually enough? Not am I on track? Because you have read that phrase 100 times. In articles written by people who were selling something. The real question: can I stop working and not run out of money before I die? The 2025 Allianz Annual Retirement Study found that 64% of Americans over 55 are more afraid of running out of money than they are of dying. More afraid of running out of money than dying. If that sentence feels less like a statistic and more like a description of your Tuesday night, this is the video you needed to find. I'm Maya. And I need to say something before we get into the numbers. This is not a savings problem. This is a system problem. The gap between what the average American over 55 has and what retirement actually costs is not the result of laziness or bad decisions. No one warned you. Not your bank. Not your employer. Not the system you trusted for 30 years. Your 401k statement shows you a balance. It does not translate that balance into monthly income. Your Social Security estimate shows you a number. It does not show you what happens to that number based on the year you claim it. And today, that silence ends. I'm Maya. This channel exists because someone needs to tell you what they won't. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you a calculation that most financial advisors charge $300 an hour to walk you through. We're doing it right here. For free. If you have been figuring this out alone, subscribe right now. Money with Maya exists because someone needs to tell you what they won't. $185,000. Let's find out what that number actually buys in retirement. Financial planners use something called the 4% rule. The industry standard. Built on decades of academic research. The rule says, withdraw 4% of your savings per year. And that money has a very high probability of lasting 30 full years. 4% of $185,000 is $7,400 per year. Divide by 12. That is $616 per month. From 30 years of saving. $616 per month. Now add Social Security. The Social Security Administration says the average monthly retirement benefit in 2026 is $2,071. $616 plus $2,071. That is $2,687 per month before deductions. But here's where it gets worse. Medicare Part B premiums in 2026 rose to $201.90 per month. And they do not send you a bill. They take it directly from your Social Security check. Automatically. Before you ever see the money. You are now at $2,485 per month. The SSA's own guidelines say most Americans need 80% of their pre-retirement income to maintain their lifestyle. If you earned $60,000 a year, almost exactly the U.S. median household income, you need $4,000 per month in retirement. You have $2,485. That is a $1,515 monthly gap. Every single month. $18,180 per year. For 25 or 30 years. But that is not the real problem. The real problem is that $1,515 is the optimistic version. Because Fidelity's 2025 research estimates that the average retired couple will spend $315,000 on healthcare alone. Out of pocket. Above and beyond the Medicare premium. That already comes out of your Social Security check. And healthcare inflation for Americans over 65 runs at roughly twice the rate of general inflation. So the gap gets wider every year. This is what no one tells you. Not because they can't do the math. Because the math is not good for business. And you deserve to know it 30 years ago. Now I need to tell you about the most expensive decision that Americans over 55 are making right now. Today. In every state. In every income bracket. The Social Security timing trap. Full retirement age in 2026 is officially 67. For anyone born in 1960 or later. Confirmed by the Social Security Administration. That is the age at which you receive 100% of your earned benefit. But you can claim as early as 62. And millions of Americans do. Every year. Because 62 feels like freedom. Because they're exhausted. Because absolutely no one sat down and showed them what that decision costs. Here is the cost. Claiming at 62 permanently reduces your monthly benefit by up to 30%. Not temporarily. Not until you hit 67. Permanently. Every month. For the rest of your life. If your full benefit at 67 is $2,071 per month. Claiming at 62 drops that to approximately $1,450. That is $621 less. Every month. Forever. Over a 25-year retirement, $186,300 you will never see. Because you pulled the trigger early. Before anyone showed you the number. And here is where it gets really interesting. Waiting past 67 is even more powerful. For every year you delay claiming Social Security between 67 and 70, your monthly benefit grows by 8%. Wait until 70. Your benefit becomes $2,568 per month. The difference between claiming at 62 and waiting until 70 is $1,118 per month. Every month. For life. Over 25 years, more than $335,000. $335,000. Determined by one decision. That most people make without ever seeing these numbers. The SSA says the average 65-year-old man lives to 84.3. The average woman, 86.7. The break-even between claiming early and waiting is typically age 78 to 80. If there is any chance you will live past 80. And statistically, most people watching this will. Waiting almost always wins. Nobody is saying this loudly enough. And it is costing American retirees hundreds of thousands of dollars. Every single year. Now let me show you what all of this looks like in one real life. Robert is 57 years old. He lives just outside Columbus, Ohio. He has worked at a regional logistics company for 28 years. Robert is not a cautionary tale. He is not someone who made reckless choices. He is the kind of man who showed up early and stayed late. Who coached his kids' soccer teams on weekends. Who never once missed a mortgage payment in 22 years. He is what most Americans look like. When the Federal Reserve's data walks through the door of a real life. He has $162,000 in his 401k. A home with $67,000 left on the mortgage. $14,000 in savings for emergencies. Robert's plan, the one he told his wife on their last anniversary. The one that got them both a little emotional. Is to retire at 63. He can almost see it. The fishing trips up to Michigan. The mornings without an alarm. The time he never had. What no one has told Robert is this. Retiring at 63, 4 years before full retirement age, permanently reduces his Social Security benefit by approximately 18%. That is $372 less per month. Every month. For the rest of his life. Over 25 years, $111,600 Robert will never see. Let's run his complete retirement income picture. Savings, $162,000 times 4% equals $540 per month. Social Security at 63 with reduction, $1,700 per month. Total before Medicare, $2,240 per month. After Medicare Part B, $2,038 per month. Robert's monthly expenses. Mortgage, $890. Car, $340. Utilities and phone, $220. Groceries, $480. Health insurance before Medicare, $680. Gas and personal care, $310. Dining and small entertainment, $280. Total, $3,200 per month. Monthly shortfall, $1,162. Every month. $13,944 per year. Over 25 years, $348,600. Robert's retirement plan has a $348,600 hole in it. And he has no idea. Not because he is not smart. Not because he didn't try. Because the system never showed him the math. His employer never showed him the math. His bank never showed him the math. This gap is not Robert's fault. It is how the system was designed. But here is what matters right now. Robert has 6 years. 6 years, with the right 3 moves, can change the trajectory of the next 30. Let me show you those moves. Before the steps, one more number. According to the 2026 Retirement Statistics Report by Clever Real Estate, 29% of retired Americans have no savings at all. Not $50,000. Not $20,000. Zero. And 51% of those retirees say they have no plan. If their money runs out, you are not starting from zero. You found this video. You are still in the game. Subscribe to Money with Maya. Next week, the 3-bucket strategy. The framework that protects your retirement income. No matter what the market does. That video drops this week. Don't miss it. Step 1. Face your actual retirement gap today. Go to ssa.gov. Create a free My Social Security account. It takes about 10 minutes. Write down your estimated benefit at 62, 67, and 70. All 3 numbers. On paper, not your phone. Paper. Then do this math. Take your Social Security estimate at 67. Subtract $201.90 for Medicare. Take 4% of your total retirement savings. Divide by 12. Add both numbers together. That is your projected monthly income on your current path. Now write down every dollar you spend today. Mortgage, car, insurance, groceries, utilities, everything. The difference is your gap. Write it at the top of the page. Circle it. Date it. Because here is what I need you to understand. You cannot close a gap you have never measured. The people who retire with actual security. Not luck, not a windfall, not an inheritance. Are always the ones who faced the number. While they still had time to do something about it. Face it today. Not next week. Tonight. Step 2. Unlock the IRS catch-up rules immediately. In 2026, anyone 50 or older can contribute up to $31,500 per year into a 401k or 403b plan. That is the standard $24,500 limit. Plus an $8,000 catch-up contribution. That exists specifically for people over 50. Most people have no idea this exists. And here's where it gets really interesting. If you are between 60 and 63, the Secure 2.0 Act increases that catch-up to $11,250. Your total annual 401k limit becomes $35,750 per year. If Robert maximizes his contributions at $31,500 per year for the next 6 years at 6% return, he adds more than $220,000 to his retirement before turning 63. $220,000. From a law already on the books. That his HR department never mentioned. Call your HR department this week. Ask, what is my current annual contribution? Ask, how do I increase it to the 2026 catch-up maximum? If you are 60 to 63, ask specifically about the Secure 2.0 Enhanced Catch-Up. Do not wait for open enrollment. This week. Every month you wait is compounding you cannot get back. Step 3. Protect your Social Security with timing. One more time, because this decision is worth hearing twice. Full benefit at 67, $2,071 per month. Claim at 62, $1,450 per month. Claim at 70, $2,568 per month. The difference between 62 and 70. $1,118 per month every month, for life. Most people claim early not because the math tells them to, but because no one ever showed them the math. Log into ssa.gov this week. Find your benefit at 62, 67, and 70. Calculate your personal break-even. Make the decision with full information. Not exhaustion. Not pressure. The math in front of you. Let's come back to where we started. The Federal Reserve says the median American between 55 and 64 has $185,000 saved. Retirees say you need $823,800 to retire comfortably in 2026. That gap is $638,000. And 29% of Americans reach retirement with nothing at all. I want you to sit with that for a second. Not because this channel is about fear. It is not. But because the antidote to fear has never been optimism. The antidote to fear is a plan. A plan built on real numbers. Numbers you faced instead of avoided. This gap is not your fault. You were not warned. You were not shown the math when it still had time to work in your favor. You trusted a system that was designed to keep you just informed enough to feel okay, but not informed enough to plan clearly. No one warned you. Not your bank. Not your employer. Not the system you trusted for 30 years. But here is what is true right now. You know the number. And the moment you know the number, the gap stops being a crisis and starts being a project. Robert has 6 years. 6 years of maximized contributions. 6 years of delayed Social Security. 6 years of paying down that mortgage until it disappears. 6 years of decisions made with full information. Instead of hope and assumption. That is not a small thing. That is everything. I'm Maya. Subscribe to Money with Maya. This channel exists because someone needs to tell you what they won't. Now I have one question for you in the comments. Be honest. After seeing these numbers today, are you actually ready to retire? Or not? No judgment. No wrong answer. Just be real with yourself for once. Because the people who answer that question honestly, the ones who stop pretending everything is fine, are exactly the ones who take the next step. Next week, the 3-bucket strategy. The retirement income system that protects you, no matter what the market does. That video drops this week. See you then.